Hi everyone, this is RANJAN and this video is all about the preparation for GMAT Quant section. In this video, I'll talk about the strategies, the resources that you can use, and I also have a few tips for you guys at the end. See, it takes a lot of effort to publish a video. The least you can do for me is to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. The preparation strategy for GMAT Quant is fairly simple. It consists of three parts. The first part is building strong foundation. The second part is practice, and the third part is analysis. I will discuss each of these separately. So let's discuss the first part, which is building a strong foundation. Many people recommend that you should practice a lot for GMAT, which I agree with. But before you start the practice, I would recommend that you should build a solid foundation. You should read all the theory parts. So for example, GMAT Quant has a lot of different sections. For example, it has number theory, permutation, combination, probability. So my recommendation is that you should read the theory part of each one of those first before you start practicing the problem. So where should you read the theory from? You can use any of the standard books available in the market. I had used Kaplan's GMAT book for quant theory. I had also read all the 5-6 books that Manhattan has on GMAT Quant. So that was also very helpful to build the foundational skills, to understand what are the different formula in different sections and what are the different concepts that are generally being tested in the questions from those sections. So that really helped me a lot. You can do the same. So the second part is practice. Once you have built the solid foundation, all you need to do is practice a lot. So there are two types of practice that you can do. One is practicing problems from different sections of the theory, and the second type of practice is actually taking a mock test. So for practicing problems from each theory section for GMAT Quant, there are a lot of resources that you can use. Some of the resources that I found most useful was your official GMAT guide that you can use. There is a question bank by a startup called eGMAT that you can use. And they are fairly standard books like from Kaplan, from Manhattan. And all of these things you can use for practice, and you should practice not just the easier problems but also the difficult ones. And what you can do here is you can go on the internet, you can search the practice problems by section, by different difficulty level, and you should solve that. And for this, I found GMAT Club to be very useful because GMAT Club has a list of questions from different sections, and they also have difficulty level marked that this is 700 to 750 level question, this is 800 level question, this is 700 level question. So you can definitely use those resources as well. The other type of practice that you need to do is to take mock test. If there are mock tests that you have purchased, then I would say you should do the verbal as well as quant mock test together so that you can recreate the situation of an examination hall. But you can also go on the internet and you can find many free mock tests for each section. So these sectional mock tests you must take a lot, like take as many mock tests that you can take and make it timed so that you still have some pressure, and it should not be that you are just practicing the question. It should feel like an actual test. So the third and the most crucial part of preparation is analysis. See, reading theory is easy. Practicing a few problems is a bit difficult. Taking an entire mock test is even harder. But what is hardest and most important is to doing an analysis after you have taken the test. So once you have taken the mock test, you should analyze all the questions that you could not solve or solved incorrectly. And you should try to analyze what is the type of mistake that you committed. So basically, you could have committed a mistake because you didn't know the formula, or maybe you knew the formula but your calculations went wrong. It could also be that you just didn't know the concept, like how to solve a problem. So depending on the kind of mistake that you did, you should focus on that. If let's say you did not know the concept, then go and revise the concept. If you committed a calculation mistake, then be a bit more calm the next time you are doing this. You should not just be looking at the questions that you got wrong. You should also be looking at solutions for the questions that you got right. Why is that? Because once you look at the solution, you may find that in a few problems, the method that you used was a bit lengthy. And if you use the method used in the solution, then you can save some time. So you should not only look at the wrong questions, you should also look at the questions that you got right, analyze the entire mock test that you took, and spend as much time as possible. And the last step in the analysis process is maintaining an error log. So whatever mistakes you committed or any question that you found was helpful or it solved some of the conceptual problems that you had, then all those problems you should copy and paste into a Word file or somewhere. Just maintain a log. What this does is Later on, if you want to revise something, you can simply come to this log and it will give you all the important questions that you found interesting or that you committed mistake on, and you can quickly revise any of the sections. I used all these three strategies to score 760 in GMAT, but to be frank, quant was always my strong suit. Like, I loved quant and it was kind of easier for me compared to verbal. I was once at a railway station and the train was delayed by 6 hours in the night. So what I did is, I had recently purchased the GMAT Kaplan book. I just sat on the overbridge जहाँ पे हवा काफ़ी अच्छी आती है. So I sat there for the entire night, and in those 5-6 hours I could like solve the entire GMAT quant portion of Kaplan, because quant was easier for me. But if it is not, then you should definitely try to apply all the three strategies that I just talked about. Finally, before I leave, I will give you a few tips for GMAT Quant section, which will make your journey a bit easier. So the first tip is what I call the put part method. So when I was preparing for IIT JEE, it was also an objective format exam. So we had like options as answers. So what we used to do, that for a few questions, it was easier, जैसे arithmetic progression का कोई सवाल आता था, it was easier to put any of the options into the answer to check whether it like fits or not. So we used to call this put part method, and using that, some of the questions became very easy. You can apply this strategy in GMAT as well. The second tip is keep calm and move ahead. So what do I mean by this? If you keep getting all the questions correct in the exam, then the next question, the subsequent questions will be more difficult. That is the format of GMAT exam. So you may reach a point where the question is very difficult and maybe it's not from one of the sections that you are comfortable in. So what you should do in these cases is just take an intelligent guess. If you assess that it would take a lot of time to solve the problem and the chances of you getting it right is less, then in those cases you should just take an intelligent guess and move forward. Do not worry that you did not get that question correct, because you need not score 100% to score very high score in GMAT. The third tip is consistency is the key. So basically, you should mark 4 to 5 months in your calendar that this is the time when I'm going to prepare for GMAT, and you should practice problems daily during that time, or you should study the theory part daily during that time. Because if you are out of practice for, let's say, 10 days, it definitely affects a lot. You lose the momentum, and then you are not at the level where you should be before you are going to take the exam. So consistency is the key. Please be very consistent. Mark a time on the calendar, and during that time, just focus on the GMAT. So that was the video, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you.